I think we, Emma, I think we could open now. It's 7 o'clock.
All right.
Yeah, showtime.
O- Okay, everyone, welcome to the special event. Really great to be here as your moderator. I'm Gumaguyari, the founder and CEO of Astronaut International, and also the founder of Astronaut Time Forecast. So today we have Tom Dorsey here, and we have Mrs. Sarah Sicarno, and also from Samuel Sekuritas Indonesia. We would like to welcome you all, and we're really happy to have you in here, class. And yeah, we have Mr. Alfari is also here. He's a senior of technical analyst in Indonesia. So, how are you, Tom? All good
I'm doing
there?
fine. I'm here.
Great.
Hello, everybody.
All right. So, before we start, we're gonna have some introduction and welcome speech from Mrs. Shara. Okay. She's the director of Indonesia Capital Market Institute. So, yeah, Mrs. Shara, can you hear me? All good?
All right.
Okay, without further ado, please uh, go ahead and say hi to all participants here.
Hello, everyone. Good evening to everyone. I'd like to say a special hello, a special respect to Ibu Miming Sationo from Samuel Sekuritas, Pak Herman, Budiman. I can't see him on my screen here, but I hope he's also here also. And also for sure, the board of directors of Samuel, Pak Widiana, Pak Hizdi, Pak Kelvin, Pak Ibu Evelyn, and everyone here. Thank you. And Tom Dorsey and Pak Gema, thank you for inviting everyone here and getting everyone together to be a part of this great event that is from Samuel, who arranged everything here to get Tom Dorsey as the co-founder of Nasdaq Dorsey Wright. That's right, Mr. Dorsey? And yes, and also here with us is Mr. William Mahmoudi also as a technical analyst from Samuel. And for sure, I also would like to pay my respect also. Good evening to you, Mr. Gema. We are for sure everybody here in the technical world, the analyst technical world knows Astronaut International. So I guess that's it for my welcome. And I would like to also would like to say a couple of words for everyone here, how we are all gathered here this evening to very much learn and get a more broader idea of all about the technical analysis point and figure method by Tom Dorsey, which is quite an interesting and it hasn't been very long ago that Tom Dorsey was here to speak also in Jakarta through Teach Me's international conference, and it's we're delighted to have him tonight also with Samuel to go and have a good discussion for tonight. This is all we are gathered here tonight because Teach Me, the Indonesia Capital Market Institute, as the subsidiary of the Indonesia Stock Exchange, is very much welcoming everyone. Also with Samuel Sekuritas is very much into education. We are putting upfront education as our mission, as our vision to actually go and see how this education will help literate all Indonesians across from Sabang to Merauke. And through webinars like this, we will make it happen. And it will be a challenge for all, since literate the what would you call it? The socialization or awareness of capital market itself is not as lucrative as in the other parts of the world, say like in the States or in Europe. And we have a whole lot of other challenges going on here in Indonesia, where the professionals and also the academicians and also the public needs more awareness and needs more knowledge on the capital market itself. And that is where Teach Me is here to come and embrace that gap. And also I see we share the same vision with Samuel Sekuritas, where Samuel Sekuritas is very much putting up front education as one of their priorities. But without much further ado, I'd like to just welcome everyone and to just say have a good discussion, and let us all enjoy Tom Dorsey's presentation tonight. Thank you.
Amazing welcoming speech from Mrs. Shara. All right, so we also want to hear the great welcoming speech from Mrs. Miming. As the founder of Samuel Sekuritas, maybe some of you never see this kind of strong and visionary woman who bring the Sekuritas company to the top 10 of Indonesia. So please welcome Bu Miming from Samuel Sekuritas.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you especially to Tom Dorsey, who all the way from Virginia is willing to teach and look at Indonesian market. It's a great honor. And hopefully he will pass his chart knowledge on a regular basis to all the Indonesian community and start making money using chart. Thank you so much, Tom, for your volunteer work to help us learn your point and figure chart.
Great, thank you very much. So here we are, guys. We're gonna talk a little bit about who is Tom Dorsey if you never see him before. So now here we are. Tom really loves Indonesia, especially Indonesia stocks market. He thinks that he can make a lot of money from these bloody markets that really great with the high volatility. So if you ever think that you always lose money and you feel desperate with your own stocks market, now you may have a refreshment, because Tom Dorsey from the United States, he really loves to join with you and share with you about the stocks market. But before that, I got a text from Al-Fadi, Tom. He wants to talk a little bit before you start with you. Let me check. Is Al-Fadi here? William, is he here? Okay, maybe later on the break. All right, guys. So Tom is a person who really expert as the point of figure chart methodology. You may never see this chart, but today I can say a few words before he started. If you know the candlestick chart, the bar chart, and a lot of more charts, the point of figure has a very strong benefits to filter the market for you. So the main problem for traders, we always deal with the false break. Okay, every time you trade gold, forex, stocks, whatever the markets you are, even the cryptocurrency, you always deal with the false break, with the false movement, noise everywhere. But the point of figure, it claims that we can filterize all those noise. So Tom will explain to you how this chart construct and how we as a trader can gather more benefits and make more money with a point of figure chart. So Tom, thank you very much for having this session with us. Go ahead, and this is your time.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate being part of this program. I've been to Indonesia many times and met Miming in a number of different places. The wonderful firm, Samuel. It's something that I have traded or been involved in for 14 years now. And I stuck with Samuel. Let me begin there. My right hand, Tammy DeRozier, and I decided many years ago that if we were going to be good at international investing, then we needed to do it. We needed to open accounts in various other countries and actually deal with the individuals there, deal with the stocks in their country, from everywhere from Thailand to Singapore to everywhere you can think of. And we did that. And it came down to basically one company that had the technology and finesse to keep me going for 14 years, and that was eSamuel. And I love the technology that eSamuel has. I can do it on my iPhone. In fact, I've said many times with Point and Figure and our system, which I'm helping to integrate into eSamuel, you should be able to run a billion rupiah or $1 billion portfolio from a cruise ship with an iPhone. So we're down to iPhone now, and that's all I use with eSamuel is the iPhone. I don't have to go onto my computer. I can just do everything right there because they're technologically advanced. So it's great that you're here with eSamuel. They're going to guide you along the way, and the people I know here are just the most fantastic, wonderful people you could possibly meet. And that's what's interesting about Indonesia. In the next 4 or 5 years, you will become probably the 4th largest economy in the world. And the average age, I think, in Indonesia is around 27. So you have nothing but great firepower coming in this country. And it's great to be a part of it. So let's begin with the point and figure method, because we don't have all night here. I could be here all night with you, but we've got to have time constraints. The point and figure method came to me by accident. And a lot of things in life come to you by accident. You have no idea, and all of a sudden you're hit right between the eyes with a particular thing. And you said, I could never have done this had this not happened. When I started the option strategy department at Wheat First Securities back in the 70s, the first person I hired brought this book with him. And he said to me, I'd like you to read this book. It's a little paperback book. The one that he brought me was like $3.50 per copy. And it was written by A.W. Cohen, one of the all-time greats back in the 1940s in point and figure charting. And I said, okay, I'd be happy to do that. I'll take it with me to Virginia Beach this weekend with my wife, and I'll read the book. And I opened the book and I got to the introduction of the book, and my life profoundly changed that moment. And what this one paragraph in the introduction did is brought me back to my education in the university, which is primarily economics and also statistics. And Economics 101 is exactly what hit me between the eyes. And Statistics 101, you didn't need to go any further than that. And you didn't need any verbiage on the chart. You just looked at the chart and the chart spoke to you. And that night I knew that my mission in this world was to learn this well and teach it to my brothers and sisters for the rest of my life. And I have done that now. For 30 years, I've done that and continue to do that. I've written numerous books on the subject, but it all came from that one night and that one person. Had I not hired him, we wouldn't be here right now. But that one person who brought that book profoundly changed my life and changed many, many other people's lives, professionals, because Dorsey Wright primarily serviced the professional industry in the United States. And the professionals, they service the individual clients. And that way it gets down, it filters down to basically everyone. This was a lost art when I came across it here. It's something that they did back in the 1940s and 50s. It's the oldest method of charting in the United States. And it was created by Charles Dow, the first editor of the Wall Street Journal back in the 1800s. So this is something that's been around for a very, very long time. It's the oldest method in America. And I would like to bring it here to Indonesia and help the Indonesian investor understand it, use it, and profit from it. So when you think about point and figure charting, what is it? It's simply a logical, organized way of recording the imbalance between supply and demand. Nothing more, nothing less. There's no hidden agendas here, nothing like that, because in the end, if there are more buyers than sellers willing to sell, price must rise. If there are more sellers than buyers willing to buy, price must decline. There is nothing else. That's it. So if you take a funnel, let's say, you had a funnel and you started jamming down in the funnel, fundamental research all over the world and all kinds of things. And in the tip of that funnel, when it comes down, the last drip that comes out is price, plain and simple. So I thought to myself, why don't I just go right to the source? Why should I bother with all of the research and all of the things that everyone is saying on television and CNBC and Fox News and all that type of thing? Why should I bother with that when all I need is price? And price took me right to managing portfolios. So when you look at the two pictures here, one would be a typical, I won't call this a store, but where you would shop outside on a Saturday, Sunday, maybe every day during the week. But what you see here is produce. And produce comes in and out of season. You try not to buy winter squash in the summer, and you try not to buy summer squash in the winter. And in the United States, in August is the best time to buy watermelons. And it's not in January. And these things move in and out of season, and you have to be aware of when a particular sector or when a particular stock has moved in season, and be able to technologically tell you that this is in play now. This is the same forces that caused the Nasdaq here. When you see this Nasdaq, that's down in New York City. The same forces cause stock prices to move around as they do produce. When you see the melons here and the different vegetables and whatnot, it's the exact same thing that causes the prices to change. You're already familiar with it. This is just another way of looking at it. Let's go to the next slide. This is a picture of how Charles Dow would have created the point and figure chart. This is called figuring because he used the figures of the price of the stock in the body of the text to make the chart. So when a chart was rising in price, we might come to this line and say stock is at 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. And then the stock experiences a 3-box reversal. He simply reversed the order and went to 47, 46, 45. The beauty of this chart is it's not updated every day. If you are with a slow-moving utility stock, you may not update this chart but once every week, or maybe once even a month. But what happens here is you must have a 3-box reversal. It must be enough for the stock to pull back, to shift columns, and reverse the order. Now, what he noticed was that in his charts that he created back then, this is in the 1800s, there were patterns that had a tendency to repeat themselves. And if I ask you over here to look at this blue pattern, what do you see? If you just took a pencil and drew around the edges of that, what would you see? I think it's clear that this is a triangle. You can see that moving up, down, over here, and a breakout from a triangle is typically very, very powerful. We use that for option trading. But these are the types of things that will happen, and you'll notice the breakouts. In the 1900s, they changed this around somewhat because it was a little difficult looking at the prices of the stock in the model itself. So they went to using X's for rising stock. If a stock is at 46, 47, 48, 49, that would be depicted by an X. When the stock reverses 3 boxes, minimum, 1, 2, 3, then you can shift columns and go into a column of O's. So your computer understands ones and zeros. It can easily understand X's and O's. No problem. So when these charts move from one column to another, you begin to see patterns form. Let's go to the next chart. This is your most basic buy and sell signals. Well, what is this? You look at these X's and O's and say, well, what does all that mean? Well, the stock is coming down in a column of O's, and it relentlessly comes down, 45 to 31. Then demand comes in, and demand overtakes supply, and the stock reverses 3 boxes. So now it's in a column of X's. It only goes as high as 34, and supply takes over and forces it back down. Again, demand takes over, brings it back up 3 boxes. You're changing columns now, and you get to a point where you were at a previous X. Well, what does that mean? That previous X is simply resistance. Why? Because the stock resisted going any further. It went to 34, and then it reversed back down 3 boxes. So it lost the demand side, picked up the supply side, and then once again regained the demand side. But this time it came up to this level that we call resistance because it resisted going any further at that point. It comes back up here and exceeds that level by 1. So think about the sellers who may have been here at 34. They're no longer here. When you get back to 34, the stock breaks out, exceeds that level, and that's your buy signal. I remember back in the 1990s, I believe it was, Coca-Cola came up 7 times to a particular level and failed. Every time it hit that level, it failed. Why were sellers coming in? Who knows? Who cares? The sellers were there, but the chart was telling you that every time it hit this level, it came back down. It hit this level, came back down. 2.5 years it did that, and 7 times it hit that level. And finally, when it exceeded that level, you could basically say all those sellers for 2.5 years that were there for that price, for whatever reason, it is not important, are gone. And that breakout in Coca-Cola gave it a 20-year bull market like you've never seen. And these are things that if you pay attention, the computer can tell you when these are going to happen. Because the beauty of the computer age now is you're looking at X's and O's. The computer understands ones and zeros. Already understands that. We send a man to the moon on ones and zeros. We can do the same thing with the X's and O's. The other side of the coin is the sell signal, where a stock comes down to a level, finds support. Why does it find support here? Buying pressure came in, reversed at 3 boxes. Now it's in a column of X's. The buying pressure fails. Selling pressure takes over. It reverses down 3 boxes, comes down to a point where it was supported before, but now it's no longer supported, and it slips through that level by 1 box, and that's called a double bottom. And that's your most basic sell signal. So here's your most basic buy signal, most basic sell signal. You'll see many, many of these. And now already you're ready for your first test. If these are double tops and double bottoms, what would 3 tops and 3 bottoms be called? Triple top. It's that simple. What would you call 4 tops? Quadruple top. Or if you like music, you might say 4 tops is a band. But just kidding. It's okay to laugh. Next box, next chart. Okay, here's a picture of an actual point and figure chart, modern point and figure charting. There's nothing modern about this. This goes back to the 1800s. But notice now you see those double tops and double bottoms where they're colored, where they break out. Now this is making more sense to you. You're looking at an actual stock. So when I look here, let's just look at this one breakout here. As this stock comes down, it gives a sell signal here saying supply has taken control. And that's a triple bottom. 1, 2, 3. And the numbers that you see in the chart are simply the first mark that we make in the chart that month. So if this is the first move that we would make in this chart in April, then we would put a 5 there. 4. Put a 4 in there. And then May is a 5. June would be a 6. And that only means it's the first mark of that month. Don't think anything more into it. It's just for your edification. But notice here, all of a sudden you see something unique happening. Now, once you get used to point and figure charting, these patterns will just jump out at you. This is called a bearish signal. Why? Because every time it comes down here to support, it goes lower. When it comes up to resistance, it goes less high than previously. It comes back down and makes a lower low. Comes back down, makes a lower low. And by doing, if there are 7 columns here, it's a bearish signal. And a breakout from bearish signal is a very, very, very high probability that this stock is moving higher. And this one does exactly that. This breakout, notice the double top. You already saw that in 2 charts before. There's a buy signal there. There's a second buy signal here. There's a third buy signal there. There's the fourth buy signal here. This stock is screaming at you to buy it. Then you have a nice pullback to the middle of the bell curve. So let's talk for one moment on the right-hand side of the chart where you see top, median, and bottom. Think back to your statistics 101 class that you had at the university. The normal distribution, the bell curve, that's it. We decided to put that on the side of each one of the charts so you could see its relative overbought, oversold nature of the position. So notice how this stock has pulled back. It went into a column of O's, beautiful, pulls right back to the mid-range, and that's where the stock wants to be. So when you think of a normal distribution, think of men's heights in the world. Some of us are way too tall, and we would be up here at 3 standard deviations above trend. The vast 68% of us are within 1 standard deviation above or below trend. Most of us are in the middle, and some of us are too short, and that puts us here at the bottom, which is 3 standard deviations below trend. This is unique. If you had the ability to use options, which I hope Indonesia will in the future, then when you get to a level of the high here, that's a time when you would want to hedge your position. Maybe take without options, maybe take a few shares off the table, do some kind of defensive work because the probability is it will pull back to the middle. Let's look at the next chart. I could be here all day with you. And here is, let me move this. Okay, the next chart was Apple. Okay, here's Apple Computer. And this is not updated because it's not important to be updated to the last minute. But this is a chart of Apple Computer. Long-term trend is up. Notice that double top buy signal right here. Notice we just talked about making the lower highs, lower lows, lower high, lower low, and then the breakout from that. Very powerful. So when I look at Apple Computer and I look on the right-hand side, Apple is very normal. It's right around the middle of that bell curve. And if you were able to, let's say at the end of your career, you took every trade you made in the stock market and you averaged them out, you would find that 68% of your trades were what I would call middling, hanging around the middle. 68%. Some will have gone too high, some will have gone too low, but these extremes don't happen that often. And on our charts, you can see them. You can see it another way here. This is part of the chart, but this is just another way of looking at it. Not so important. What's mostly important is just to look over here at the chart. Let's go to the next one. Okay, next one. Here we have Wilmar International in the commodity area and Riverstone Holdings. Notice the red line here. That's called the bullish support line. I look at it also as William informed me that in Sumatra, there is a road that goes from south to north. That's it. You're on when you're on that road, it's going north. And that's a 45-degree angle. So whenever the stock bottoms out and it begins to give buy signals here, then you would start to construct your bullish support line just by connecting the boxes. That's all. Nothing more. And this will never change. This will always be a 45-degree angle. The bearish resistance line will be the exact opposite of the 45-degree angle, which I think is a 135-degree angle. When the stock is above this bullish support line, it's positive. Probability is going higher. When it's below that, and it's on that road in Sumatra going from north to south, then this is when you want to avoid or sell short if you have the ability to do that. Riverstone Holdings, which is in our business, basically finance business, notice how this stock has bottomed here And then given that first buy signal, that's the point where I want to get in. And you can alert your computer on our system just to notify you with an email when these things happen. So let's say you were interested in Riverstone. You said, okay, I'm interested in Riverstone, but I don't have time to watch it every day. Computer, tell me when this actual happens, when this buy signal happens, and when it does, you'll get an email. There are 30 or 40 different things that you can put in there to advise you. But now what you've done is you've given that piece of the portfolio over to the computer and said, let me know when it happens. I don't want to waste any more time on it. When it happens, then I'll know it. And I can put a note on that too, on why I told the computer to alert me on this buy signal. It's beautiful. To me, it's just, it's like a Picasso painting, these things. Let's go to the next one. Okay, DBS Group here also trades in Asia. And it's also in the finance group, I do believe. But notice here this buy signal that takes place here. There's your bullish support line right here. And that's the bearish resistance line right here. So once the stock broke that bearish resistance line, it goes on my list to own. But notice here, it's at the top. So if I look at this right now, it's at the top. You have also on this chart, when this chart was put in here, is over the top. So I have to buy this on a pullback. So I'll tell the computer when this reverses into a column of O's, and it must have 3 to reverse, 1, 2, 3. Now it's moved back more toward the middle, and that's where the stock wants to be, and that's where I want to buy it. So I put in a good till cancel buy stop order that if it gets down to 21.50, let me know, or execute the order and buy the stock for me. Right-hand side, you're seeing the same things as here, but it's on the right-hand side here. Let's go to the next one. Okay, relative strength, probably the most important part of the equation for us. It's how I manage my model in Indonesia for 14 years, is using relative strength. And the way you calculate that, let's say you wanted to compare Coca-Cola and Pepsi. If you went to every single wirehouse, I say wirehouse, that's brokerage firm, and got a report on Coca-Cola, at least in the United States, it would be a positive report. It's a great company, one of the all-time greats in America, positive, we like it fundamentally. If I went to the same places and I said, give me a report on Pepsi-Cola, you're going to get the same thing. Beautiful company, love it, et cetera, et cetera. Now what? Fundamentally, these companies, A and B, Coke and Pepsi, are basically the same. Now what do I do? If I can only own Coke or Pepsi in my portfolio, I can't own anything else, I have to make that decision. The decision is made by creating a relative strength chart. That's done by dividing the price of the numerator, whichever one you choose as the numerator, by the denominator. So let's say we put Coca-Cola on the top and divide it by Pepsi. So Coke, let's say, is at 100, which it's not. I'm just pulling that out of the air. But Coke is at 100 and Pepsi's at 50. I divide Coke by Pepsi, I get 2. So I divide 100 by 50, I get 2. I'll add a 0 to make it easier to chart. So now it's 20. And I know now that Coca-Cola is the play. When it's in a column of X's and rising and on a buy signal, I need to own Coca-Cola in the portfolio. When this changes around, and you'll see how this happens, when it changes around and gives a sell signal, it's saying you should sell Coke and buy Pepsi. So let's look at how that works. This is the most important part of the equation. This is how we run the models. This is how I, for 14 years, have run the Indonesian model at Samuel. It's how we manage our exchange traded funds, which we probably have 40 ETFs out there. This is how we do it. It's on this relative strength. So if you let your mind expand here for a moment, take our PDP, which is our technical leaders. I say ours, NASDAQ owns the company now, but it's the technical leaders, PDP. And out of 1,000 stocks in the inventory, we will select 100 of the strongest relative strength. So we're going to divide every single stock in that 1,000 by stock A. Then we're going to go to stock number B, divide it by every stock in it, stock number C, and so on. The computer does it extremely fast. In fact, the computer has it for you every morning. And then we will buy the top 100. That's all. There's nothing else involved in it. So the PDP has had exceptional returns, and it's simply that. It's basic fourth grade division. So if you have a nephew or niece or grandchild or your child that's in the fourth grade and they do division, they can do this for you. It's no more difficult than that. So go to the next chart. Here is a picture of that actual market activity, market relative strength. So we're looking at Bank of America as the numerator, Standard & Poor's equal weighted denominator, and we're dividing the two of those on a 6.5% scale. And we're charting it. So remember the double tops and double bottoms we looked at? Here you go. So this sell signal is going down. So it's saying own the numerator. Denominator. Own the denominator. Now, Bank of America, was the denominator and the equal weighted S&P numerator. And you can see the returns that it's had here during this period, March 12, 2009 to August 10th, 2010. In that period, up 132%. Then by doing that division, you get a buy signal. Remember that double top buy signal? Comes up to a level, resistance, comes back to that level, exceeds it. That's your most basic buy signal on a relative strength chart. And that's saying own the numerator. Own the numerator, and Bank of America is up 132%. Again, the sell signal takes place. That's saying switch now. Switch now to owning the overall market. Bank of America is down 27% during this period, but the S&P is down 25%, and the S&P cap weight is down 24%. So when it gave the sell signal, it said own the denominator, which was the indexes. And you have one more buy signal that takes place here on this chart, and that's another one that's saying switch back to Coke. But notice how long-term this is. This one chart here that only stretches maybe 1.5 inches or 2 inches goes back to 2008. So they're very long-term in nature. Let's go to the next chart. This is the important thing right here. That's where you want to compare it to if you're dealing with Indonesian stocks, you want to compare it to the overall Indonesian market. And you divide one by the other. Next chart. If I'm running out of time, grab me, let me know. Top Glove. Top Glove is the largest glove manufacturer in the world for operations in hospitals, and they're in Malaysia. And Top Glove, again, same picture we have here, double top buy signal signaling that you can own this now. It's right in the middle of that bell curve, perfectly situated. And so at this point in time, which was November of 2000, you'd want to be owning Top Glove. And let's move further on. Before I take up William's time, technical attributes. And if I'm close to that 30-minute, let me know. We look at 5 different attributes that a particular stock would have. Trend. Is it above that bullish support line? Is it on that road in Sumatra that's going north? Relative strength, we just saw how we calculate that versus the market. Is it on a buy signal? Market relative strength. Is it in a column of X's? Peer relative strength. So you would look at ExxonMobil against oil stocks. And so against its peers, is the signal a buy? Against its peers, is it in a column of X's? If these are all positive, you have what we call a 5 for 5. That's 5 positive technical attributes, and it takes a minimum of 3 to own the stock. So if it doesn't have 3 attributes, technical attributes, you can't buy the stock. A weak technical attribute stock is 2 or lower. Next one. And this is how it shows up on the chart. If we look at this, is a technical attributes of Microsoft. And you see it's a 5 for 5. It's got all of those going for it. And this is the going in the past. In 2014, it was a 3. It was a buy in 2014. Again, it continued on in that mode of 3 or higher, and it currently has a 5 for 5. Next chart, and that is Microsoft. This is the picture of Microsoft. So when you have a 5 for 5 through the 14, I mean, it's been a great play, this Microsoft, and continues to be. The breakout that Microsoft just had the other day, fantastic. Long-term bullish support line that William is showing you right there. If that's the road in Sumatra that's going from south to north, that's what you want your stock to be on. If it's not on that and it's below the blue line, then you're probably going to run into some trouble where supply has overtaken it. So that's the end of the charts for me. I want to get out of the way and listen to the great William.
All right. So really great presentation. We have point of figure chart for any stocks market that you can see. We can use that for Indonesian market, US market, and also some top growth company in Malaysia. And we also combine that with the relative strength to get a more confirmation. So basically from the south to north, we're looking for the 45 degrees bullish trend. If you are maintaining that perspective, you always find the bullish trend stocks. With the continuation system, then you can see more supply and demand with a point of figure chart. So now, point of figure chart from Indonesia, William Mahmudi, CFT, CMT, and your time.
Thank you, Mr. Gemma. We could talk in Indonesian though, because most of our participants is Indonesia. Baik, jadi sekarang dalam bahasa Indonesia ya. Kita lihat bagaimana ini Mr. Dorsey sudah membagikan bagaimana metode point and figure bisa digunakan. Lalu bagaimana kalau kita akan pakai, diterapkan di Indonesia? Nah, kita di Samuel, di sini, kerjasama dengan Mr. Dorsey, dengan Dorsey Wright Associate, kita ngelihat ide dasarnya sebenarnya sangat sederhana. Dan kita bisa menerapkannya dan itu memberikan return yang lebih tinggi kalau kita bisa konsisten. Coba kita ingat-ingat, apa yang Pak Dorsey sampaikan ketika menggunakan point and figure. Konsepnya di sini, sinyal kita dapat kalau membentuk pola double top. Double top adalah ketika dua kolom X ini, kolom berikutnya berhasil break ke atas. Jadi ini adalah pola sinyal buy. Lalu double bottom di sini adalah ketika dua kolom O ini, kolom yang terakhir ternyata berhasil berlanjut lebih rendah. Dan ini adalah sinyal sell. Nah, hati-hati ya, bagi teman-teman sobat Samuel di sini yang terbalik menggunakan candlestick, mungkin mikir, apa William nggak salah ngomong? Bukannya kalau di bawah itu polanya double bottom, lalu kalau break ke atas, baru itu sinyal buy. Sedangkan kalau ini di atas, udah tinggi banget, ini adalah double top. Lalu kalau jatuh ke bawah, baru itu jadi sinyal sell. Yes, itu kalau candlestick. Kalau di point and figure, sobat-sobat Samuel sini bisa bandingkan. Bisa bandingkan di mana-mana. Mereka menggunakannya itu terbalik. Kenapa? Karena fokusnya adalah akan break-nya. Jadi kalau di sini kita ngelihat dia break ke atas, fokusnya adalah dua top X ini. Dan variasinya ya, saya akan kasih lihat. Kita double top ini yang paling dasar untuk sinyal buy. Lalu di sini juga sama, fokus di bawah ini yang akan break, jadi double bottom dari dua O ini. Bagaimana kita praktekkan di saham-saham Indo? Nah, sebelumnya coba kita lihat contoh candlestick dari saham yang termasuk blue chip di Indonesia, TPIA. Ini tentu salah satu saham yang sering saya bahas. Saya sebagai analis teknikal di Samuel, berapa kali bahas, oke, TPIA. Kita ngelihat dari Oktober, rally terus, resisten 11.200, 11.300, jatuh Maret, lalu sekarang lagi menguji resisten 11.2, 11.3. Straightforward. Tapi itu kalau dalam candlestick. Bagaimana kalau kita mau melihat dalam point and figure? Sobat-sobat Samuel, perhatikan di sini. Kita ngelihat, di sini saya ngambil snapshot terbaru ya. Pada bulan pertama, kedua, ketiga, ini yang menunjukkan pola terbaru dari TPIA. Ingat apa yang disampaikan pada konsep dasar dari point and figure. Di sini kita ngelihat sudah ada pola double bottom, double top. 1, 2. Yes. Lalu setelah itu TPIA-nya jatuh. Dan sekarang ini kita lihat sedang berbalik lagi, kembali menguji level 11.200. Nah, di sini enaknya kalau point and figure. Kalau itu candlestick, Setiap hari akan ada update. Ingat, bedanya di sini point figure dengan candlestick adalah, kalau candlestick setiap hari harus ada update. Mau candlenya seaneh apapun, mau candlenya sekecil, sebesar, setidak jelas apapun, pasti ada update. Tapi kalau di point and figure, tidak bisa. Kenapa? Karena kita sudah sepakat, kalau satu kotak ini, lebarnya adalah 200 pada contoh ini. Jadi perhatikan, levelnya 11.000, 11.200, 11.400, 11.600. Jadi kalau misalnya TPIA, high-nya berikutnya itu cuma misalnya 11.250, 11.275, atau 11.315, whatever. Dia tidak kena 11.400, tidak akan digambar. Jadi itu yang sebenarnya ide dasar point and figure. Kok bisa ya? Itu bisa menfilter noise seperti yang disampaikan oleh Bapak Gema di awal-awal. Ya karena itu. Karena tidak setiap hari TPA akan digambar point figure-nya. Beda dengan candlestick. Di sini yang menarik adalah, kalau ini berhasil maju satu kotak, kita bisa bilang, kita bisa berargumen bahwa pergerakannya itu signifikan. Makanya sinyalnya itu lebih kuat dan lebih bersih. Coba kita bandingkan dengan saham yang lain. Bagaimana contoh yang lain misalnya? Ini BBCA. Ketika saya menggambar ini, secara teknikal klasik sederhana, candlestick-nya, dari Oktober sampai bulan Januari, kita ingat BBCA rally terus kenceng sampai mencapai level 36.700. Lalu, ketika bulan Februari, Maret awal, kita melihat pergerakan BBCA menjadi bearish. Sekarang bahkan dalam downtrend channel. Ini beberapa kali saya bahas ketika kita melakukan morning meeting maupun update teknikal terbaru. Jadi kita lihat, kawan-kawan Samuel perhatikan di sini, pergerakan BCA memang bearish. Sampai mana? Secara teknikal, saya bilang resistennya bisa ke 30.800, sekarang ini udah kena ya, 30.600 maksud saya di sini, sampai 28.500. Tapi ingat, sekarang ini kan belum break ya, jadi ini benar-benar BBCA berkonsolidasi. Kalau pola candlestick sudah jelas, bagaimana dengan point and figure-nya? Nah, kita lihat di sini, point and figure, BBCA, bulan pertama, kedua, dan ketiga sekarang. Perhatikan di sini, sobat-sobat Samuel. Ketika dia mencapai BBCA level 33.000, ini sebenarnya sudah genting, membentuk pola double bottom. Jadi lihat ya, ketika BBCA itu mencapai 32.500, dan kita ingat itu adalah bullish uptrend line yang terbentuk dalam pola candle point and figure, ternyata setelah itu break, ini memberi sinyal yang lebih valid kalau BBCA itu memang dalam bearish situation. Jadi kalau tadi mudah kan, TPIA itu lagi nguji double top, break. Kalau itu break, jadi sinyal buy yang valid. BBCA sekarang ini sudah break dari level 33.000 untuk point and figure, makanya jelas sekarang ini lagi bearish signal. Nah, sebenarnya kuncinya di sini memang sangat sederhana. Kalau saya sudah tahu TPA itu untuk double top, BBCA jelas double bottom dan sekarang udah breakdown, selanjutnya bagaimana? Disinilah kuncinya. Ingat yang disampaikan oleh Mr. Tom Dorsey. Kalau saya sudah tahu pola-pola point and figure dari setiap saham yang ada di pantauan saya, saatnya saya ngelihat bagaimana performa relatif masing-masing saham. Kalau saya punya list saham, pastinya saya tahu nggak semuanya itu performa bagus atau jelek. Saya mesti perhatikan satu lawan satu seperti apa. Jadi itu seperti idenya seperti olahraga. Dalam olahraga apapun, kalau kita bikin timnya diadu satu lawan satu, kita akan dapat suatu papan klasemen yang menunjukkan performa mana dari saham-saham tersebut yang terbaik, menengah, dan terbawah. Nah, itulah yang akan menjadi snapshot situasi terbaru. Saham-saham mana yang outperform, underperform satu sama lain. Coba misalnya contoh TPA tadi. TPA tadi harganya sekitar 11.000. Terakhir saya lihat itu memang sekitar segitu. BBCA harganya sekitar 30 ribuan. Jadi kalau saya hitung secara matematika dasar, ingat Mr. Dorsey bilang point and figure sebenarnya sangat straightforward. Anak SD juga bisa. Saham A 11.000 TPA. Saham B, BCA 30.000, ya 11.000 bagi 30.000. Dikali 100, kurang lebih itu mestinya sekitar 30-an. 30-an, ingat, relatif strength-nya TPA melawan BBCA adalah sekitar 30-an. Kita lakukan itu satu demi satu, dan plotnya kita lakukan lagi di point and figure, seperti contoh berikut. Nah, tadi saya bilang TPA lawan BBCA harganya 30-an kan? Ketika saya melakukan plot relatif TPIA melawan BBCA, saya melihat jelas kalau TPIA jelas outperform melawan BBCA. Dan itu sebenarnya sangat straightforward kan? Karena kita tahu TPIA tadi masih uptrend, sekarang lagi nguji resisten. BBCA dalam downtrend channel. Dari situ aja ide sudah sangat sederhana. Kalau saya plot, saya tahu situasi terbaru secara relatif, TPIA menang melawan BBCA. Sekarang ini menarik. kita sudah tahu bagaimana cara melakukan relative strength calculation 1 lawan 1. Ya sudah, saya terusin aja ke semua list saham saya. Inilah yang saya dapat. Saya bisa membuat suatu papan klasemen akan list saham saya. Dari situ, saya bisa melihat, oh, misalnya saya punya 24 saham. Ini misalnya ya, bisnis aja lebih. Saya lihat, oh iya benar juga. Kalau saya perhatikan gitu dengan table point and figure, TPA jelas ada di papan atas. Sedangkan BBCA ya ada di bawah sana, karena kan trennya lagi downtrend. Sisanya ini tentunya adalah bahan internal ya, antara kita, tim Samuel, tim research kita selalu punya papan klasemen yang dinamis, berubah dari waktu ke waktu. Apakah setiap hari berubah? Tidak. Tidak setiap hari. Kenapa? Ingat, point and figure itu tidak mesti diupdate setiap hari. Karena kita sudah sepakat, harus lewat batas kotaknya, baru diupdate. Beda dengan candlestick yang harus diupdate setiap hari, point and figure bisa menunggu. Mungkin 2 hari, mungkin 3 hari, mungkin beberapa minggu. Yang jelas kita menunggu sampai ada kenaikan yang signifikan atau penurunan yang signifikan, baru kita update chartnya. Dari situ sebenarnya yang dilakukan oleh yang dibahas tadi oleh Mr. Gema, kalau kita konsisten melakukan point and figure, kita akan dapat sinyal buy and sell yang lebih bersih dan lebih akurat. Ini yang sebenarnya sangat menarik kita lakukan. Dan mengapa point and figure sangat powerful digunakan dalam melakukan portfolio management. Nah, jadi kawan-kawan semua di sini, ini sebenarnya adalah akhir sebelum kita menuju Q&A. Kami berharap kawan-kawan di sini mendapatkan ilmu yang bermanfaat untuk point and figure. Kami dari tim-tim Samuel akan terus memberikan materi-materi yang menarik yang bisa membantu kawan-kawan di sini memaksimalkan profit. Dan bagi yang belum membuka akun Samuel, kami sangat menyarankan membukanya baik di PC maupun laptop, di smartphone, semua tersedia. Fitur-fitur yang ada itu akan sangat membantu kawan-kawan semua di sini. Kami juga akan bersiap sedia, baik tim research maupun tim sales, akan menjelaskan, akan memberikan yang terbaik servis-servisnya, di mana kawan-kawan semua dapat menggunakannya dan berhasil dalam dunia investasi Indonesia. Terima kasih.
Okay, great. I really love your presentation. So, what next? Do we answering the question, or do you have any idea, William?
I'll say one thing. I don't speak Indonesian.
Oh,
yeah,
no problem.
It's okay. We're gonna translate that. Don't worry about that.
It motivated me like crazy listening to him. I understand a word of it, but I loved it.
Yes.
All right. So
we're going to install your system in our mobile app, Tom, with your support.
Yep. Absolutely.
Your
yes.
point and figure.
We're ready, Tom.
Yeah, I guess we can start to answering some question here. What do you think, guys? Okay, so if everyone ready, let's pick up some question, and then Muhammad will talk with Tom. He say hi for you. So let's answering like 2 questions at the first time. I'm really happy to pull up this question. Number 1 is, Tom, what do you think about your winning ratio? Because some Indonesians, they always concerned about the winning rate by shifting their chart from candlesticks or bar chart or even line chart to the point and figure chart. It's kind of new for them, so they really want to know how about your risk to reward ratio by using this, and what is the winning ratio percentage on that? So
well, I've never calculated that on a ratio because I don't use anything else. That's the only thing that I use, that I have ever used, and I see no reason why I should do anything else. This is perfect depiction of supply and demand to me. So I don't have a ratio. It's all I do. Now, what I would recommend that you do is maintain some charts, print them off from your eSamuel system, and maintain them by hand. If you read my book, you'll find out exactly how to do that. It's a very simple book. It's like you're sitting with me on a couch talking about point and figure, and maintain the chart by hand yourself. Or make sure you pull the chart up every day to see it. But when you put your own X's and O's in the chart, that's when you really feel it. when you put that last O in and it breaks a triple bottom, you know in your heart the probability is lower prices. So do these things by hand, and you'll gain more confidence with it.
Okay, great. So Thomas, the answer will be like you have to try by yourself, and the best way to calculate the winning ratio is by try by yourself and calculate your ratio, read Tom's book, and then use the application through Samuel Sekuritas, then you'll get the answer.
Wait, I want to add something also. So actually, Tom has been a good client on Samuel Sekuritas. Bu Miming could vouch that. Tom has been with us for like 14 years. Yes, 14 years. I'm not making that up. It's true. And Darren and I, our sales team, we have investigated how it works in Tom's portfolio. You know, from 2009, Jakarta Composite Index, it rose from around 1,000 to 6,000 now. That's correct. Because we have crashed, remember that, 2,000, and then we dropped to 1,000. Now, Tom's portfolio, if you compare 1,000 to around 6,000 now, it's around like what, 300%? It rose like 300%. Tom's method give him return more than 1,000%. I could assure that. And his winning rate is around 70 to 75%. I forgot, but around that number. When it's good, it's really, really good because the Toms will get the long momentum. The long momentum, when markets rally, yes, point in future is unbeatable. It's really unbeatable because it's a momentum trading base. The problem is with this is that when there is no momentum, I will also tell you directly, what is the disadvantage of this point in future? I mean, it sounds too good to be true. Yes, there is disadvantage. When market is not rallying, there will be some fake signals. That's true. When it's sideways, yes, we have problem. But when market is on strong rally, oh my God, Tom's method is unbeatable. I tell you that. I vouch that.
Good. So maybe one day we can try live trading with Tom. I think that's a good idea.
What do you think, Tom?
So
you know the interesting thing about what William is talking about there is the model that I run at eSamuel is automatically run because the computer just simply does the relative strength charts, picks the top 5. If one of those falls out of the top 5, number 6 goes in, and it's like a soccer game. Have you ever seen the coach substitute a person in soccer? That's what happens. But because we're dealing with X's and O's, the computer understands it and can do that for you. So you can run a portfolio like that. Create your own exchange traded fund and let it run at eSamuel. No other place.
Okay. Yeah, that's lovely. The main problem for all traders, actually, if Tom using the pointer figure, he can pretty much wait until the right momentum. Maybe he trade like 2 or 3 times a month. Am I correct, Tom? How much you trade a month?
Yes, as far as owning stocks, that's true.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
I trade every day Standard & Poor's index options.
That's index, right? So if we are talking about a gold, I trade gold and Forex as well. We can trade, like, even now I trade. But if we're talking about the stocks, and the whole people here, they expect a winning rate, but they want to do like intraday trading with the pointer figure, I don't believe we can do that. I mean, we have to wait until the great momentum. You have to wait, like, let's say 2 or 3 times a month only. Then you wait until the best momentum, the best supply and demand appears, then you hit hard, then you start making money. That's the hardest part as a trader. You have to wait the momentum, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. All right. So
wait, also, Thomas is right, okay, when he said that you need to wait for the right momentum. In reality, though, we're talking about the list of stock, okay? So while some stocks will not give you any signal at all, and that's true, what do we do? There will always be some stocks that give you the signal, okay? Now, the problem is some of the signals are not good quality. That's why if you remember Tom's PowerPoint before the slides, he said that, oh, if you need this technical attribute and stuffs, that things is actually to be translated to our market. For example, one of this list of the stock, it shows you this column of X. I will focus, as a technical analyst, I will focus on the stocks when it has a column of X, because from time to time, those X moves. Those X moves, and if you compare it with the candlestick charts, that will enhance your trading system. That's why, even though the best quality will not come that often, you actually could have strategy using that point and feature. Yes, strategy that you could use, not mainly point and feature, but complement your trading system. I do that as technical analyst.
Yeah, it's all about the confluence and getting more confirmation.
Yep.
You're using the oscillator or the modern technical analysis, but a point of figure is one of the picture that you can gather. Even though you also combine that with fundamental analysis, the value investing, so that works well. So it's all about supply and demand, right?
Always.
Okay, so now the other question is about the box. People asking about whether or not one box that represent 1 month, okay, or how to set and how much the value of per box in the point of view.
That's a very good question. One, because we put the month in the box means nothing other than to let you know that this happened in April of 2014. It happened in April of 2021. That's all it's for. The box size is the important part. In the United States, if a stock is between $0 and $5, the box size is 1/4 of a point. If it's between $5 and $20, the box size is 1/2 point. $20 up to 100 is box size 1 point, and over 100, we go box size 2 points. Now, the beauty of this is with your computers, you may have a stock that's extremely volatile that needs to have the box size increased. Now, when you think back to the .com craze, I remember Yahoo was so wild, and that was when I think it was up. I'm thinking $200 or $400. I'm not sure, can't remember. But we had to raise the box size to $10 per box. Now, what that did is it slowed the chart down and gave you a beautiful picture of supply and demand. But if you looked at a stop point where you would be willing to let the stock go, was way too high. I mean, with $10 per box, you may risk $50 per share before you stopped out. So it's important that you be able to raise the box size on a very volatile chart to make the chart look more normal. But then if the stop point is not palatable, you said, I can't risk that kind of money. I can't risk that money on that double bottom stop. Then you have too much stock. You have to deleverage yourself. Leverage is the kiss of death in investing, where you take every penny you have and you buy as much stock as you can with this particular pattern. That can lead to disaster. So with Yahoo at $10 per box, it's suggested that, look, if you can't take the heat from a regular stop point that you would have if Yahoo was, let's say, $1 a box, then you have to reduce the number of shares you buy. So in Yahoo back then, it was like you had to come down to 5 shares because of the destruction that stop could do, because it's a 10-point box. Do you see what I'm getting at? Okay. Over leverage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's true. That's true. And I want to add also what Tom said. Okay.
No, you're good to go. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So, pertanyaannya tadi kan itu bagaimana kotaknya kan kita atur. Tom adalah aliran tradisional. Jadi dia sudah punya list kotaknya harus berapa. Kalau situasinya terlalu ekstrim, dia akan adjust. Tapi sebenarnya aliran modern dari point and figure itu sudah otomatis ke adjust dengan indikator ATR. Indikator ATR. Jadi kotaknya itu akan otomatis adjusted. Tadi sebelum kita mulai kita sempat diskusi sama Kapten Gema itu bagaimana ini kita terapkan. Tadi saya ingin jawab, tapi waktu itu kan kita udah keburu waktu. Jadi kalau kawan-kawan Samuel di sini penasaran dengan point and figure, metode tradisional itu sebenarnya ada list lebar kotaknya yang harus kita pakai. Hanya sekali-sekali aja di adjust kalau situasi terlalu ekstrim. Tapi pada prakteknya sebenarnya kotak itu akan ter-adjust otomatis. Biasanya mengikuti indikator ATR. Bisa kita bahas bareng indikator ATR itu apa, average true range segala macam, rumus matematikanya gimana. Tapi intinya sih tergantung bagaimana pergerakan candle-nya dan range-nya itu selama berapa waktu ke belakang. Bisa kita atur mau 14 candle, mau 20 candle, bagaimana. Itu akan menentukan lebar kotaknya secara otomatis. Jadi sekarang ini sebenarnya sudah enak. Kalau kita mau trade menggunakan point and figure di platform manapun, tentunya ke depannya kita akan kerjasama dengan Tom, akan ada di Samuel. Tunggu tanggal mainnya.
Yeah, I think that also answering Rinaldi Wijaya.
Bakal bakal otomatis ke update. Jadi sebenarnya udah enak. Kawan-kawan Samuel sini nggak usah mikir panjang-panjang. Walaupun kalau mau tradisional bisa juga. Saya nggak percaya indikator ATR ini. Saya mau manual sendiri ya. Mau lebar kotaknya berapa gede. Mau 1000 poin kayak, mau 500 poin atau 200 poin kayak tadi. Bisa.
Okay, so that's also answering Rinaldi Wijaya. He asking about, I think he sent a statement as well. Samuel Star has no point of figure charting. Why do you present it if you don't have? I think if you don't have the point of figure. So let me help you to answer this. Number one is William already say that soon they will provide you with this point of figure. And number two, consider this like a diamond knowledge. Okay, Richard. Is that Richard? Wait. Yeah, is that it's Richard, right? No, Rinaldi Vijay, I'm sorry. So I don't think you can get this material for free like this. So just take it for granted for now and just wait until Samuel announce that they already have point of figure. Okay, just buy Tom's book and then learn and study it, and let's see whether or not it's useful for you. Okay. And okay, so John Giovanni, this very controversial question: is point and figure chart more useful than candlesticks chart? Who can answer it? Come on, who can answer it?
Not me, because I know nothing about candlestick charts. Like I said,
Look.
Or do I have to
answer
call...
this?
Wait.
Let me answer this. Okay.
Do I have to call Steve Neeson and join this?
Steve is here.
Let's call Steve Neeson. Okay. For that, Will.
Oke. Jadi gini, saya sama Pak Gema, kita berdua itu adalah bisa dibilang ya, maaf kalau terdengar terlalu sombong, orang-orang pilihan. Hanya sedikit orang Indonesia yang punya sertifikasi teknikal internasional. Silakan tanya Pak Gema berapa orang, bisa dihitung sama jari. Saya nggak bohong, saya nggak ngarang-ngarang. Oke? Kalau Bapak Ibu sekalian ingin punya pengetahuan teknikal yang benar-benar diakui internasional, point and figure ini adalah salah satu kurikulum yang harus dipelajari. Harus. Termasuk yang Steve Nissen, candlestick tadi. Benar, Pak Gema juga nggak salah. Tapi apakah more useful? Well, ini sebenarnya kembali lagi sih ke tradernya ya. Kalau saya mau kasih semua variasi teknikal itu yang kita pelajari, baik saya sama Pak Gema pelajari, satu hari nggak bakal selesai. Kami belajar itu bisa bertahun-tahun buat lulus 3 level. Pak Gema malah harus presentasi. Ya saya nggak akan cerita lah. Saya saat itu ada waktu Pak Gemanya lulus. Tapi anyway, apakah itu more useful? Sebenarnya bagaimana strategi masing-masing trader ya? Kembali ke yang Tom lakukan dari tahun 2009 sampai sekarang. Tom nggak pernah lihat candlestick. No, nada, nil, never. Dia hanya fokus ke point and figure dia. Dia hanya lakukan rebalancing ke model yang dia buat dengan point and figure. Dan seperti yang saya bilang, return-nya itu eksplosif sampai sekarang. Jadi 2009 sampai sekarang 2021 sebagai klien Samuel, Pak Tom itu return-nya benar-benar luar biasa. Tapi tidak semua orang punya point and figure. Candlestick seperti yang saya bilang tadi. Kalau gitu kenapa seakan-akan candlestick ini yang kita pakai terus, bukan point and figure? Well, karena gini, candlestick itu setiap hari ada update, ya. Brokerage itu kita harus akuin punya interest ya. Kalau itu kan harus ada update rutin setiap hari ke klien. Menjelaskan situasi market terbaru bagaimana, Pak William. Pak Gema ini dong, saya ingin tahu apa sekarang waktunya trading segala. Tentunya kalau point and figure kan kita tahu, Tom sudah bilang, the best quality signal is rare. Tapi dengan candlestick, karena setiap hari ada update, kita bisa berargumen, oh dengan analisis dari candlestick ini, sekarang bisa kita lihat bagaimana bla 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 bla. Tapi kalau apakah itu more useful, ya balik ke trader ya. Karena saya tahu orang yang fokus point and figure aja bisa kok berhasil trading. Pak Tom itu saking berhasilnya, perusahaan dia tuh dibeli sama Nasdaq. Makanya namanya itu sekarang Nasdaq Dorsey Wright. Dia udah pensiun, dia udah nggak fokus lagi. Sekarang dia personal portfolio aja. Jadi orang bilang point and figure nggak bisa dipakai kelamaan. Cuma institusi yang bisa pakai, retail nggak mungkin pakai. Wrong. Kenapa? Karena Pak Dorsey sendiri fokus point and figure aja untuk personal portfolio dia. Jadi retail pun bisa pakai point and figure.
Great. Yeah, and this is also the great question from Roy. How do you determine the take profit and stop loss? Do we use the stop loss, and how to determine the stop loss figure? How about that, Tom?
Well, as far as stop loss is concerned, it depends on your proximity to the bullish support line, that north road in Sumatra. If you are close to that, then I would wait for the break of that support line. Your stop can come on anything that you want. I mean, as long as it's, in fact, there's a way of trading. It's called probe trading, that you would simply begin with a small position on the first buy signal, add to that position on the second buy signal, third buy signal, add same amount to the position, continue on. As long as you're getting buy signals, first sell signal, sell the whole thing. So there's many different ways of using stops. I think most traders try to get too close on their stops. You've got to give the stock some room to move.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If the relative strength turns negative, then you shouldn't be in that stock relative to the other one.
And how many percent normally, if you're using the daily chart and using point of figure, let's say we pick up one like Tesla stocks, okay? So how many percentage from your entry point, let's say you are using the double top breakout, so you're going to break and buy it until the stop loss, how many percent normally?
Oh, that's a tough question. If we could pull the chart up of Tesla, we could show you, but the double top is not necessarily always the buy signal, because that's the most basic of buy signals. There are combinations of it, like catapult formation, where you have a triple top, a pullback, higher bottom, followed by a double top. That combination is very, very powerful.
It's like a ascending triangle, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. When you have those two stacked on top of each other, then it's like aces back to back.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, so like a fulcrum. Are you using the fulcrum pattern?
I wouldn't know what a fulcrum pattern was.
Okay, yeah.
This candlestick charts.
No. That's a point of figure chart. So I never touched point of figure, honestly. I just learned it because I just want to pass my CFT, like William said. So it's so make me crazy. That's why.
Yeah, you're meeting the authors there. One of the authors.
Yeah, but here's the thing. There's another question. This is really great. So our point of figure chart and as comparison also applicable to other non-stocks market like Forex, crypto, commodities, because in 2018, I met John Bollinger. I talked with him. I even make a vlog with him. So I asked John whether or not the Bollinger Band works for any market. And John said, I never use Bollinger Band for any market other than stocks. And that's surprising me. So, I mean, a lot of people use the Bollinger Band for any other assets, but the founder itself, he only used that for stocks. So regarding this question, I think it's really interested. So can we use that for even Bitcoin on that point of figure?
Sure, why not? I mean, you can use point. It depends on the box size again. You can crunch the chart down so it's a very normal looking chart, just like top glove. You look at top glove, say this is a normal looking chart. You can crunch down the Bitcoin, but the box sizes will be so large, your stop points will be unpalatable. So if you use Bollinger Bands really are nothing more than statistics 101. That's the bell curve we just talked about.
Okay.
That's Bollinger Bands. When you get to the upside of a band, I don't know anything about Bollinger Bands, but I've seen them. You get to the upside of a band, you're probably 3 standard deviations above trend. When you're down in the center of that band, that's probably the sweet spot. And when you're down at the bottom band, because I think you have 3 bands, you're on the oversold side of the ledger.
Okay.
So it really is the normal distribution. So you can use it for that, in that you can get the relative overbought or oversold nature of whatever you're looking at, whether it's soybeans, cattle, it doesn't matter. But I think what John Bones are saying is that once you get to a point where, let's say you're on the oversold side of the ledger, you're 3 standard deviations below trend, that's when I want to begin looking at selection.
Yeah.
That's when the other charts would come in. Now I've got the group down there. Let's say it's gold. Now gold is down there in that level. I've got to look at charts now to make my selection of which one.
Okay, so basically you're talking about the value of that asset itself. So let's say fundamentally it's already like -2 standard deviation, then we will apply that by looking supply and demand with the point of figure chart. We combine both of that technique. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
beautiful.
That's why I showed you on the chart that we have on every one of our charts. You have top, median, and bottom. That's the bell curve. Turn the bell curve sideways. That's it.
Okay.
So on the chart itself, it's showing you how the relative overbought nature of the stock, and then over here, right next to it, is the chart pattern.
Beautiful. And how about the weaknesses? Some attendees asking about in what circumstances that we cannot use this point of figure. So let's say like moving average, you will never use that on the sideways market. And how about the point of figure? What is the weaknesses and what will be our concern?
The weaknesses, you already talked about it. I think William did, where if you have no movement, things are just kind of static, not moving. What will happen is you'll end up getting a buy signal, then a sell signal, and it's fluttering around. You'll know that when you look at the chart. But what that chart's doing is creating a base from which it will eventually break out from. And that base you can calculate the price objective of that particular stock. And this comes from the science of ballistics. If you show me the gun that you're going to shoot, the weight of the bullet, the powder keg that's going to push the bullet, the attitude of the rifle, the air temperature, I can tell you exactly where that bullet will fall. And that's back in the 1920s, they used ballistics to determine the potential price movement of a stock. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And
it's so simple.
And Kevin asking about how to combine that with other indicators like oscillator, stochastic, MACD, RSI. Do we need to combine that, or you can just solely using
No, because you're going to get confused.
Okay.
The more things you combine, the more complicated it becomes, and the more you have to leave some things out because it doesn't allow you to buy it or stop the position out or whatever. You've got to keep it simple. Keep it simple, straightforward. What do you need other than the irrefutable law of supply and demand? What else do you need? Anything?
I don't think so.
Because that's what makes anything, the shirt that you're wearing, the price of that shirt is determined by supply and demand. And everything that we deal with, when you buy a car, anything like that. So why go anywhere else? Why make anything more complicated?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly. Keep it simple. Look for the long-term play.
Yeah. So being stupid sometimes is better because we always win. The more we know, and then more considerations that confuse us, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
All right. Exactly. Okay, so I think we already answered all the questions, all great questions. Let's see whether Muhammad is here. Muhammad Al-Fadi, are you there? He wants to talk with you, Tom. Apa udah ada? Tadi ngechat saya katanya.
Yes, that's Al-Fadi.
Where is he?
Hello to
Muhammad, I saw him.
Yes.
I cannot see him.
I saw him for a second on my iPhone.
Okay, can you unmute him, William?
We're doing it.
Okay, great. So feel free, guys, if you have any other question while we're waiting, class. Okay, Yari Maris, point of figure for day trade or only for investing? So, William.
Yes, man.
What do you think?
Okay. Can we use for day trade or only for investing? I told you before, as long as you have your list of stocks that you watch, yes, it's best for long-term investing, like I said. When you got that strong rally, oh man, that's the best. For day trade, actually you could, but you need to focus on the X columns, okay? When the stocks in the X column, and I think Tom also said, well, the auth enhancer is when the text attribute is one of them is in the column X. That's when you got the idea for day trade. But like I said, it's not exactly how you use point figure. I use it to complement my candlestick analysis. You could, but it's better if you have also something up your sleeve. That's Pak Al-Fatih.
Okay, hey,
hello,
welcome.
Mr. Fatih.
Unmute.
Hi. Yeah. Thank you, Tom. This is a very interesting lesson from you. Yeah. Thank you for being Samuel Sekuritas client for 14 years.
Yes, Mohammed's been a good friend of mine for a very, very long time.
Yeah. Thank you for your presentation. We will talk again.
Beautiful. So, yeah, Bu Miming.
Okay, Tom, people are asking, will you sign on a certificate that they participate in your point of figure seminar today?
Certificate of attendance.
Certificate of learning point and figure.
Introduction, point figure.
Introduction.
Yes. Good introduction, Tom.
We hope more to come. Will you personally sign, Tom, that people attending the seminar today for the basic point and figure? Is Tom listening or not?
Yes. Tom, can you hear us, Tom?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So what do you think, Tom? Yes. Can you?
You provide me with what you want me to sign, I'll be happy to do it.
Oh, right. Yes, Tom will be delighted. Yeah.
I'll be happy to do it.
That's great.
Thanks, Tom.
Mrs. Sarah, any question?
Yeah. I'll have some of my books sent over there. Maybe you can have a drawing.
Oh, anyway, what is the book title? So can they buy from Amazon or Kindle?
Yeah, you can. It's point and figure chart.
Okay, that's it.
There you go, guys. Point of figure charting. You can buy it from Amazon.
That's the 4th edition. Yeah.
Yeah, that's produced by the Wiley, I think.
Yes.
The Wiley is the publisher, so yeah, you can get it around the world.
That's one of the books that Gemma and I read to pass our certificate.
Exactly. Yeah. I read
so thick, so difficult back then. But now we sit and practice thanks to Tom. Yes. We will need more than that, Tom.
So I have the book here.
Yes, the book.
That's the 3rd edition.
So everyone got your book. You're so famous here.
We will personally want that book from you, Tom. Signed by Tom itself.
There's the 2nd edition.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the 2nd edition.
I like it that Tom keeps updating the material inside with the most recent situation. The 4th edition with 2008 and stuff. Oh, and that's a very basic one also.
You speak Polish?
That's Polish. Yeah.
We read also dual classes back then. Oh, so
hey, anyway, our friend Gideon, he's one of the senior technical analysts as well in the association. He asked you, please explain how do you use point of figure for rebalancing portfolio, compare basket portfolio with benchmark, and plotting the relative strength.
Yeah, what we do with rebalancing portfolio is with relative strength, plain and simple. Plain and simple. Think about a soccer game when the coach takes one player out and replaces him with another player. You guys know soccer? You guys much better than I do.
Yeah,
Okay.
everybody loves soccer here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then you understand how they replace players, right? One comes out, one comes in. Am I correct?
Yes.
In baseball, that's what happens.
Yes.
That's what we do with a portfolio. That's what we do. When the relative strength gets down to a point where it's not strong enough to be in the top, let's say, like in our PDP, our technical leaders exchange traded fund, it must be in the top 100. So what we'll do is we'll calculate. Let's say you have a stock and it's going to go. You're going to calculate its relative strength versus 100. If every one of them is on a buy signal, then you're ranked number 1. If you have 98 that are ranked on a buy signal, then you'll probably be number 2. And you can go down to number 100. When you get to 100, we stop it, and that becomes the ETF each quarter, every quarter. Same thing. So that's how we do it, is with the relative strength chart. That's the important part, is relative strength. You'll be going crazy if you're taking things in and out of portfolios that just give sell signals and that type of thing. That's not going to work. You need something longer term in nature to give it time to do what it's going to do.
Nice. Okay. So hopefully that answer.
So you do relative strength for each stocks, and the value is coming in the point and figure chart. Isn't right? Correct?
If I understand you correctly, Mohammed.
Yes.
I'm not sure.
So first you do the relative strength between stocks, and then you put it in a point and figure chart. So any breakout or any bullish, then you come into the stocks.
No, it's already in the point and figure chart. If I could, well, the next one that we do, we'll go into our system and I'll show you how that happens and how that works. But it's got to be on a point and figure chart first, because then in essence, you have to bring your team in and let them arm wrestle with each other. And you take the best 10 arm wrestlers. With the Indonesian model, I take the best 5 out of the list of stocks that we have, which is a little bit outdated, William lets me know. But still from that list, we take the top 5 strongest relative strength, period. If number 5 or any one of them falls out of the top 5, the next strongest one goes in. So it's just like changing a player in soccer or in baseball, if you know that. When the pitcher is beginning to do poorly, they take the pitcher out and bring someone in to replace him from what's called the bullpen. So, and that's kind of interesting. It just hit me. They call it the bullpen, but we would call it the same thing because you're looking at bullish stocks, right? So you could be taking it from a bullpen for stock. Interesting. That just came to my mind.
Yeah. Oh, saya mau tambahkan sedikit. Tadi kan sempat tanya untuk gimana sih kita mau belajar point and figure ini dari buku Mr. Tom dan segala macam. Sebenarnya, baik saya, Pak Al-Fatih, Pak Gema, kita semua kan ini anggota Asosiasi Teknikal Indonesia. Dan kita itu cover basic point and figure. Cover. Itu termasuk basic teknikal yang harus dikuasai bagi kawan-kawan sini, Sobat Samuel, maupun yang akan mempelajari ini. Kalau kawan-kawan tertarik, bisa kontak saya, Pak Al-Fatih, atau Pak Gema. Kita akan arahkan bagaimana belajar point and figure. Tentunya, basisnya dari Tom Dorsey, akan ada jadi yang kita kembangkan di Samuel ke depannya. Tentu, basic secara umum ada di AATI, Asosiasi Analis Teknikal Indonesia. Kawan-kawan yang tertarik, silakan kontak kami akan dengan senang hati membantu. Siapa tahu tertarik jadi generasi berikutnya, teknikal yang berkualitas dari Indonesia.
Bisa disetting tuh nanti di Samuel bikin acara tentang point and figure ya.
Bisa Pak.
Yeah, that's lovely. Oh, anyway, I think I missed one question here. How to measure the target price for the double bottom and double top in the point of figure?
How to measure what?
The target price. The target price of double bottom and top.
Okay, the price objective.
Yeah. So let's say you buy when the double top breaks, and how do you measure that? Is that the same with the normal double top pattern, from the neckline to the top?
No. The
Okay.
way you measure it in point and figure charts is two ways. And it dates back to what I said in ballistics. Let's say you have a stock that's going sideways, 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 and it's building that base. It's not much happening, but it's building a base. You do what's called a horizontal count. You count the number of boxes that are in that base. You multiply it times the box size, and then again times 3 box reversal. So times 3. Then you add that to the bottom of that base, and that's your price objective. Or you can do a vertical count, and that is when the stock breaks out, goes up to a particular level, and then reverses into O's. That line can never go any further than that. So that's like taking, say, a tennis ball and throwing it up in the air as hard as you can, and it goes only a certain way, and then gravity takes over, and the ball falls back. So you know the distance from where you threw the ball to where the ball went, its height before it fell back. So you would take the column of X's that it had in that run, multiply times 3, multiply times the box size, and add it to the very first X. So add it to the exact point at which you threw the ball. That's how you do the counts. No other way.
Okay. Great. Yeah, basically, if you want to know more how to calculate and measure target price, just get Tom's book and buy a dictionary online or whatever. You can scan it. If you're confused about English, geez, right? A lot of question here. Do you publish Indonesian version? I can help you to answer no.
Yep.
This is the original language. Just buy the bloody dictionary, then there you go, right?
Maybe we should collaborate and translate it, Gema.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
To make
Exactly.
official translation with Pak Al-Fatih also. Sponsored by Teach Me and Samuel and stuff.
Yeah.
Make it official guidebook.
Yeah, really.
We will try to work together and have it in our mobile app. Yeah. Tom?
Oh, listen to that, Tom. Very
Right?
interesting.
But
Future.
if I know Lee Samuel and Ming, that's going to be done.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
will be done.
Thank you for your support, Tom. And
So you
Gema
guys,
too.
you guys
And
gonna
if
get
we can-
yeah. You guys gonna get the point of figure Tom Dorsey version in Star soon. I guess maybe in 2-3 months or 4 months from now.
Tunggu tanggal mainnya.
we'll try to work as hard as possible within
Yeah.
3 months.
It's priority now.
That will be me and Pak Al-Fatih together. So, oh,
Yeah, that's lovely conversation, lovely webinar. So is there anything that
Yeah.
you guys want to add to this session?
Me?
Yeah. So what's the next step after they read the books, and how can they practice on this point of figure chart while waiting Samuel Sekuritas adding your software into their star?
Like Ming said, we'll do this once a month.
Okay. Okay, great. Once a
So we'll
month,
see-
guys. Don't miss
We'll
it.
Yeah, we'll take a piece of it, log on with Zoom. That's the cool thing about technology, is we log on with Zoom, and we could have 1 million people here.
Yeah.
Fantastic, Tom.
So since we know that every month they will held this webinar, so just make sure you go to English course and practice your conversation. Yeah, feel free to ask. So let me share a little bit about the English. I never go to like a formal English school or English course. I love aviation since maybe 3 years old. So I know that I live in a very small town in Borneo. I don't have any opportunity to go to like English college. What I can do, since I love aviation, I just got some aviation books fully in English. So the way I learn it, I just copy like every single word and I bring my dictionary with me. So it takes me like years until I understand the whole book. So the long story short, if you really love how to make money in this financial market, please learn the English, because the reference, all the books, the great books around the world, like Tom's book, everything published in English. That's the original language, the best way you can learn the original knowledge, guys. So now you can go for YouTube, learn about English, and I think Tom Dorsey class will be your motivation, because every month they're gonna held this event. So next month you will be able to listen from Tom without any subtitle. I think that's the best way.
If Tom allow, we will sponsor, have it translated in Indonesian professionally. His English book.
Your call, Tom.
You mean what did you say? You'll sponsor what?
We will sponsor to translate your English point and figure to Indonesian language. Samuel.
That would be great. My book is already in German, Polish, Japanese, Chinese.
Yeah. Okay, we will do that for you, Tom, and sponsor it, because we want to have our Indonesian people also very good in chart to make money professionally in stock, just like you.
Yes.
That's great. That's
Kita bisa
fantastic.
jadikan bacaan wajib di hati maupun tips me juga ke depannya. Materi pembelajaran.
Yes. Maybe join ya, tips me and Samuel, we will help ya.
Yep.
And Gemma, please help also teaching.
My pleasure, ma'am. At your service. Always be here for you.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Samuel has the greatest group of people working there that I have ever encountered in my 45 years in the business. Dedicated, young, smart. I mean, Ming, you've got the right crew.
Well, thank you. It's the key is passionate in what you do.
That's right. That's the key. Is passion.
So let's make money and we have a party in Bali.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay. So
all right, guys. So I think that's it. Yeah, that's Bali, right? So
yeah.
So thank you very much for the event. We really appreciate your attendance, and feel free to call Samuel Sekuritas, open an account there. Let's trade with them. They already give you a lot of support, and I believe they deserve to more participants in the next webinar. All right, Tom Dorsey, give an applause from your own home.
Let's photo together. How about photos together?
Yeah,
okay, everybody turn on the camera.
Everybody turn on the camera.
Okay.
Yeah, William, can you arrange?
Camera?
Yeah, please arrange for that, William, from your admin there.
Okay.
Darren, yes, please. Okay, so
since we want to get a certificate, we must confirm that you attend.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, buka kameranya semuanya.
Ya, kamera semua, foto bersama.
Foto bersama.
Smile, Tom.
Smile.
Yeah, now you're ready. Okay.
Tom, can you show one more picture with your book?
Your book, yeah, your book.
The book.
Yes.
Show the book, Tom.
Show the book, Tom. And
okay, let's take another picture.
Polish?
Is that the Polish one? No. I think the newest one.
The point and figure one.
Point and figure book. Tom.
Yes, Tom.
Please.
Show it, Tom. Oh, where's Tom?
Okay.
That's the Chinese.
Wow, the Chinese.
I mean it in English one, Tom.
The English.
The next time is in Bahasa
I
Indonesia.
understand, Tom.
Beautiful. All right. So let's take a
Okay,
shot,
that's
guys.
it.
Okay.
Take the picture.
Okay, take a picture. 3. Oh, not yet, Tom. Let me
Not
count.
yet, Tom.
3, 2, 1. Cheese.
Yes. Okay, good. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. So have a
Thank
good
you very
day.
much.
It's been
See you
wonderful,
next
everybody. I have got a meeting downtown.
Iya nih.
Oh.
10 minutes.
Okay.
Udah nih udah.
Good luck for your meeting.
Thank you
And
so
thank you,
much.
everyone.
Thank you, Tom.
See you soon.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Thank you,
Thank you, Bu Miming,
Thank
Bu
you,
Sarah,
Pak
Pak
Fatih.
Al-Fatih, William. Bye.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.